Sky News can reveal Qantas is counselling cabin crew who were on board a flight from Melbourne who served passengers while wearing badges of the Palestinian flag. One passenger who took these photographs of a stewardess told me all the staff he saw on board the QantasLink flight to Hobart on December 20 were wearing the badges. The young man, who is not Jewish, says he felt intimidated by the stunt, given the extremism and aggressiveness of some pro-Palestinian protesters in recent months. The incident has led to the head of one Jewish community group calling for all staff involved to be sacked. Australian Jewish Association CEO Robert Gregory told Sky News political activism does not belong in airplanes while Australians are heading off to enjoy their holidays. All Australians should feel safe while flying. If employees are found to be using their roles for political activism while passengers are essentially captive in the air, they should be dismissed. These incidents aren't isolated, and Qantas management should address the divisive political activism coming from their staff. Mr. Gregory is right that this is far from an isolated incident for the Qantas Group. Sky News has also spoken today to another passenger who was flying on its budget airline Jetstar from Melbourne to Ballina in northern New South Wales in December, when she claimed she heard a cabin crew member say "Free Palestine" at the end of the takeoff announcement on the PA system. The Jewish passenger says she was furious and made a complaint with the company straight away. It's understood that Jetstar investigated the complaint and believed it was a case of misunderstanding or mishearing. Then there's Brisbane woman Karine Khalif, who was flying back from Israel in late November when a Qantas check-in employee asked her, "Could you hear the bombs your government is dropping? And it's terrible what your government is doing." The Jewish woman, who had friends who were killed in the October 7 attack, was shocked and filed a complaint with Qantas. Qantas Group's budget airline Jetstar also fielded a complaint after a Sydney man wearing a traditional kippah on a flight from Melbourne in December said he was harassed by a fellow passenger who repeatedly yelled "Free Palestine" and "Stop killing our babies" at him. When he tried to raise the issue with a flight attendant, he was allegedly told, "Flight's over, everyone off the plane." And back in 2021, I revealed on Sky News that Qantas launched an investigation after its website listed certain locations within Israel as the State of Palestine and occupied Palestinian territory. The airline then blamed a third-party supplier and said the terms did not reflect Qantas's position on Israel and Palestine, and we, of course, align with the Australian government's policy. Well, the Albanese government has since hardened Labor's position on Israel, declaring the West Bank and Gaza as occupied Palestinian territories. But that was certainly not the case then, and there remains, of course, no state of Palestine. On this latest incident, a Qantas spokesperson told us cabin crew are not allowed to wear any badges unless they are part of the approved uniform policy. Every customer should feel safe and respected when flying on a Qantas aircraft. It's understood that the crew members involved will be reminded of the policy. The antics also appear, though, to breach the group's code of conduct, which states, while personnel have an individual right to support political campaigns in their own time, they must ensure that their association cannot be construed as being connected with the Qantas Group. The code also says Qantas is committed to providing a workplace that is safe, inclusive, respectful, and where all our people feel they belong. It begs the question, would the wearing of Palestinian flags make a Jewish employee feel safe and included after the worst massacre on their people since the Holocaust that started this war? Of course, you don't have to shell out for an overpriced airfare to be bombarded with pro-Palestinian activism. Just hop on public transport. In December, a Sydney train driver was recorded repeating a genocidal Hamas chant, widely recognised as a call for the elimination of the Jewish state, over the train's loudspeaker.
Thank you for riding with Sydney Trains, and remember, from the river to the sea.
And in October, transport officials held a meeting with another Sydney train driver who played a pro-Palestine song on the loudspeaker of a packed train that was headed to the city on the same day as a pro-Palestine rally. He said, "We love you all. Here's a song for you guys," he told the protesters on board the train. The more cultured among us can now expect a night at the theatre to be hijacked by activists, as the opening night of the Sydney Theatre Company's performance of The Seagull was in November. We've learned even a family Christmas carols event isn't safe, as we saw in Melbourne. Under its former CEO, Alan Joyce, the Flying Kangaroo has had mixed success on political activism, campaigning on everything from same-sex marriage to the Indigenous voice. Its staff would be wise to stay out of complex and divisive Middle East politics. And I'll be speaking to the passenger on board that flight a little later in the program.